It's like facing towards. Yeah. Okay, so it should be.
Can you hear us?
Okay, so I think we're good. Can you hear us clearly now? I probably wasn't
Gonna have a
speaking
delay.
at the mic.
He's gonna have a delayed reaction.
Testing 1, 2, 3.
Nothing.
On top. There he is. Perfect. Thank you. Thank you, Randy.
So am I technically.
I was gonna say.
It's 1:30, Paul. We're ready to start.
Okay, here we go. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining this Parks and Rec Advisory Committee meeting on Tuesday, June 2nd at 1:30. We're going to start with call to order.
Ken Frida here.
Paul Grant here.
Bill Spargrove here.
Paul Flores, Public Works Director, Gateway Services.
And Tamarazan is here remotely through Teams. So I see we do have quorum. I just want, before we begin, to make a motion to allow her to participate while she's on the Teams meeting.
So moved.
Second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. Excellent. And she hears us, so we are good there. We're going to start with the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. We already did roll call. We mixed that up. That's okay, though. We're going to start with public comments.
Yes, we have two. We can start with Teresa Nelson.
Hi again. I'm here with an update about the FPL Orange River Puma transmission line project that's going to affect Gateway's Linear Park. I understand this is just one more issue on your plate, and I really appreciate your addressing the topic in your last reports. I'm reading everything now, first time ever, and it was wonderful, really. So the district manager and the board of supervisors had a lengthy discussion at the end of their last meeting on May 21st about this topic, and I hope that they keep it on top of their priority list. You may or may not have seen the Wink News story that made TV a couple of weeks ago in Hampton Park. And there have also been some social media posts. And I really feel that the more people that know and care about this, the better. We did receive, meaning my husband and I, a letter from, or an email from Michelle King, the project manager, on the 28th of May. And Chelsea O'Reilly and Charlotte Miller from the local FPL office also received a copy of this. She referred us to the North American Reliability Corporation, NERC is what it's called, for mandated minimum clearance requirements of vegetation and transmission lines.
Can you repeat that, North American?
I'll give you these notes with a phone number on it too.
Great. Thank you.
Yeah. So as a layperson, it looks like we're allowed a lot more leeway than clear cutting. And it's my hope that the Gateway attorney researches this issue. That's maybe good news. I've reached out to the Florida Public Service Commission, and they put me in touch with Fatima Fernandez from FPL out of Miami. She listened intently, and she said she would forward our concerns to the engineering department. And she said someone would call me back in a couple days. And if they don't, I'll call them back and just see. So I'm just putting it out there.
Yep.
What I did note with her are wanting clarification on tree clearance rules. They keep telling us that it's in the initial phases. And if that's the case, could they not look into making the existing power lines another tier higher? I've seen those. I just saw them in Minnesota. Possibility of possibly putting this part underground. And then safety concerns that many of my neighbors have living so close on the cul-de-sacs, these poles coming in of the electromagnetic fields and the corona sound noise. And I know some of them have asked Tiffany Turner for clarification on this as well. And speaking of her, she's coming in. She does not live here, but she's here in town for the week. And she's supposed to be meeting some neighbors in Hampton Park this afternoon. And she said that she would be happy to talk to anyone, and I feel like this commission would have her, committee would have some clout, and gave our phone number. Is that my time? Anyway, I just want to stay directly involved with this and do everything I can to help the Gateway Linear Park and Hampton Park, my neighborhood. So feel free to let me know if you have any suggestions on how to approach this. I keep coming back to saying the same thing. This is our one chance to do it with a scalpel rather than a bulldozer. And I really want to thank you for all your work that you do here. So here is her number that I'm speaking.
Yeah, that'd be wonderful. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank
Appreciate
you.
it.
Thanks for your work.
Paul, if I can just add, we're still waiting for Tamara. She has not joined the Teams meeting yet. Georgia did send her the link,
Oh, okay,
so she did email her
okay.
just to
Sorry
allow her
about
to
that.
join. No, no worries. I just wanted to clarify that.
For your work.
Paul, if I can just add, we're still waiting for Tamara. She has not joined the Teams meeting yet. Georgia did send her the link.
Oh, okay.
So she
It's
did
playing back
email
your
her.
recording.
I'm not sure why. No worries. Just wanted to clarify that.
That's interesting.
That is very interesting. Tamara's on now.
Okay, she's on now.
She's not joining the team. Okay, yeah. Georgia did send her the link.
Tamara, if you're on, you need to make sure that you're muted because I think we're feeding back.
I'm not sure why.
So Tamara, if you could hear us, just make sure that your microphone is muted.
I just muted her.
Yep. So
Okay,
that's-
very
Okay,
good.
good. So she's in.
Yeah, she's in.
Perfect. Thank you so much. Again, right, we're going to follow up with it. We're going to keep on it. I actually have it in our, we're going to talk a little bit later about our presentation that we're going to make to the Board of Supervisors. It's mentioned in that as well, on top of the meeting minutes and the reports, okay? Thank you. All right,
And next we have Cheryl to talk, Marturno to talk about the dog park.
Gentlemen, there have been so many rumors circulating about the dog park. Last time I spoke with Kerry, she said you were planning on not putting any more money into the dog park, which I totally agree with. I have been the liaison between the residents and owners of the dogs for 11 years since moving to Gateway. We want to know, are you planning on closing the dog park completely? Are you moving it to the fun park? What have you decided? We all want to know because several of the residents have they've gotten their passes done and some are outside of Gateway. They're paying $175 a year, which was a big jump from what it was originally. So I would like to know from you gentlemen, what are you planning on doing with the dog park?
Oh, have we decided on that?
so there's a few considerations. First of all, I saw on Facebook that, you know,
Yes, I saw that too.
somebody made the decision that the dog park was just going away, that no one has ever said that in any capacity at all. So I'm just going to put that on the record. No one said that we're going to destroy the dog park and it's never going to exist in Gateway. The last communication that we discussed in a meeting was that we were considering budgeting for the next 2 years and that we weren't going to budget forward to expand the dog park. Okay, so we weren't going to put money, you're correct there, we weren't going to put money within the budget for our plans to improve the dog park, right? The dog park is just going to be maintained. Now, is that going to move or not? There's a few different ideas and concepts on it. And I think right now, as far as a decision on what we could say like yes or no, we still don't know, to be honest with you, right? I could say for sure that we're not eliminating it,
Okay.
but where is it going to be? There's been pros and cons on both sides, whether it stays where it is or whether it moves, right? We've also had discussion as far as the fun park goes and what's going to happen with that too. So there are a few things that are up in the air. I could say that the fun park is probably going to be completely removed, right? To be honest with you. But as far as the dog park go, no, it's not our plan to remove it, right? Now, that being said, we're an advisory committee. So that's what our advisory has been to the Board of Supervisors, right? But ultimately, they make the decision, right? But as far as we go and what our recommendation has been, it's been to maintain the dog park.
Well, it's kind of silly to maintain it, to be honest with you. There's so many bare spots, and even if you use sod from other projects, it's not worth it to put that money into it. What we are requesting is dirt put in to the wheelbarrow so that we can fill in the holes of dogs that dig. We also are requesting that the poop bags be in so that those who have dogs can use those poop bags. I myself use a Walmart bag because I have a Newfoundland puppy that's 110 pounds. So
Right,
I don't need your poop bags.
right.
But a lot of people have been complaining that the poop bags,
So you're
They
saying
can't
even at this point, current, and I don't have a dog, so I'm not over there, right? But you're saying at this point, you feel that it's not being maintained and that the residents feel that it's not being maintained adequately, even the existing, where it is right now and how it stands.
exactly. I'll give you an example. My group comes from 2:30 to 4:30. There are others that come after us. We were asked on Wednesdays to stack the chairs so that Mainscape can mow on Thursdays. We do that,
Right.
but those coming after us don't. So last time I was at the dog park, there was a chair that was toppled over. Mainscape left it there and didn't pick it up and mow, which to me is really ridiculous. Because any landscaper, if there's something that's obstructing the way, they move it out of the way and continue to mow. So that's our one complaint, is that Mainscape is going in and out quickly and not holding up their end of the bargain,
Okay.
so to speak.
Okay, that's something definitely that Public Works can address. Regarding the dirt and the poop bags, that's something that it's a constant challenge for us, but we are very active in trying to refill the bags and also try to put, the dirt back into the wheelbarrow for our, dog park users.
Paul, how often do they check those?
We have a daily, it's daily, that we have someone out there taking a look to see what needs to be done.
Okay.
The chair and Mainscape, this is the first I'm hearing about that, but that's something definitely we can address. And if I could go back, so agenda item 8F is to talk about, proposed sunsetting the fun park and also a relocation plan for the dog park. So that will be addressed with that agenda item as well.
And I saw the same listing that you did. Of course, there was no name on who posted it, but I got several phone calls today.
Yeah.
And that's why I'm here today.
And I understand. And to be honest with you, I do my best to not respond to those messages on Facebook, right? And I'm going to say this publicly on the record, people should come here. And if they, right. Okay, so if there's a concern, just come and sit with us and let's have a discussion about it. I could say for sure the plan is not to eliminate the dog park.
Thank you very much. And my dog thanks you.
Absolutely. Thank you for coming. All right.
Anybody on the phone?
Is there anyone on the phone for public comment? Thank you.
No, no one else,
Someone else in the,
unless Tamara would like to say something. Or like to add to the comments.
voice from above? Tamara?
She's on mute.
If there's a lag, so just be mindful of that.
Flag us down, Tamara, if there's anything. All right, action log review. I believe we are current, let's see. Yep, we're at the capital improvement list, so we're discussing that. The fees we discussed last time, we're current on that, so I think we're good on the action log.
If I could just add, Paul, so there is an update with Civic Plus. We did sign a contract with them. We are looking to do a early to mid-August implementation with Civic Plus. There is a cost savings to the district, which will in turn be a cost savings for all of our users of Parks and Rec. So just kind of wanted to give the committee an update and a status of where we're at with the Civic Plus software.
Okay, good to note there. All right. Next, we have approval of the minutes from May 5th. I looked them over. Does anyone have any comments to make, or can I get a motion to approve?
I'll make a motion to approve.
I'll second.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Okay. Great, thank you for that. And today is the 2nd, right?
Yes, it is.
Perfect. And next, April financial report. And I didn't see anything. Do we have it on the slide deck?
I mean, here it is. I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
there it is.
We magnify the
Oh, thank you.
financials here.
Yes, thanks. Yeah, I didn't see any changes from last time, so there's been no modifications.
The only comment I'd like to make is that we did complete the pool resurfacing project. So I just kind of want to share that, not only with the advisory committee, but also with the, our residents.
And it's been very nice.
Beautiful.
Done.
Yes, it's
Yes.
great.
Absolutely, totally agree. Good to hear.
There's no slipping, which is phenomenal, right?
It's like a tartan track out there.
Yeah, it's like that track material. It's wonderful. So if you haven't for our residents, if you haven't been over there, go check it out because it's a great time.
All the way to the baby pool, which is
Right.
a very
All the
good
way.
idea.
Okay, so we have items for discussion now. And we're going to start with the July and August 26 meetings. So do you know why I should put that on here?
Just for the advisory committee's consideration, whether you would like to take, July and August off. A lot of our subcommittees do choose to take some time off during the summer. So it's just a topic for discussion and maybe some direction is what we're seeking.
And we did skip last year, those meetings in July
did.
and August too.
Yep.
So,
I think it makes very good sense. Unless there's something pressing.
Right, if there's something pressing, I think we could probably reach out to all the committee members to see if there's an emergency or a special meeting that could be held. Not so much emergency, but a special meeting that needs to be held to discuss it, an important item or topic.
I agree. I think the only thing that I foresee as being important is how this proposal for our improvements go, right? Because we do want to make sure that that is considered and they make a decision on that by September when the budget is finalized for next year. That's my only concern, right? So I don't think there's much, honestly, that we can do in July and August to change it. I think we present this to them and it's really their decision to make. So I think we're ahead of time there. So it might not really be beneficial to have July and August, I guess.
Agree.
I agree.
We need to make a motion?
Yes, I need a motion.
I'll make a motion that we suspend
Okay.
our meetings for July.
And I'll second it.
And seconds, all in favor?
Aye.
I
And then fiscal year 2027 Parks and Rec Advisory Committee meeting schedule. I think we have that out there. And I didn't see anything strange with that. We just keep on the same schedule, monthly basis. So I'll make a motion to accept the Parks and Rec Advisory Committee meeting for 2027.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. So that passes as well. Right. And next we have the Gateway Commons Park and Administration Building sign.
Yes, this item is being brought forward just for informational purposes to the committee, because I know there was an item in your capital improvement list to talk about an electronic sign. And so this was presented back, I believe in March, February the 5th of this year to the Board of Supervisors. So I just kind of want to show what was presented and what was finally approved by the board. This is the sign that was approved by the board that's moving forward today for the Commons Park.
Where's the location?
This will be by the main entrance, I believe. Okay, And then the subsequent slides are the other ideas for signs that were presented. And of course, they were not approved by the board. And if you look at the costs, because this one has a cost estimate of $276,000 to $227,000 at the time. And there were various versions of this that were presented to the board, and I'll kind of slowly go through these so that you have an opportunity to take a look at them. But none of them were entertained by the board, so they went with the first one that I showed you.
Nice decision.
I think it's just a cost factor, and that's why they went with the first one. Are there any questions or anything that?
And what would the signs have displayed? Meetings, events, what?
Yeah, general information regarding the district events, anything, or even advertisements. I'm not sure, but it could be just about anything and everything, community related. But this is going back, this was approved by the Board of Supervisors.
That was approved by the Board of Supervisors, and that is, where's the placement of that?
The entrance?
Yes, by the entrance,
The entrance of
Commons Park.
Commons Park.
Yes,
Which would be where the pool entrance is right now.
Right, the pool
Yes.
entrance.
yes.
I find this to be less distracting.
I agree. I
The
think,
other one, I think, would be dangerous.
however, I still feel like we have, and Tamara just brought it up, right? And I'll read for the minutes. She says that she's confused because last meeting we were told that they discussed the digital billboard and they said absolutely no way. We talked about advertising and paying for advertisement on these digital signs, which I agree, right? I mean, we're also charged with coming up with a solution for vendor advertising to get more vendor engagement happening too, right? So on top of the information aspect, it's also about allowing vendor promotions to take place. Now, this sign is a very professional looking sign at the Commons Park. It's really good there. I still feel like we have more than enough space to recommend, and I'm not talking about Gateway, maybe not at the park entrance there, but we have more than enough space around the fountain and even further up on Gateway Boulevard to allow people to know what's going on in the community.
I agree.
Right? So
You're suggesting an additional sign.
I'm suggesting an additional sign at a community center point that allows people to know what's happening in the community.
And it doesn't necessarily have to be anything electronic.
Well, no, I mean, I honestly, I feel cost-wise, it would be more cost-effective to make it electronic, right? Because as far as updating it and maintaining it, it doesn't need to be something like this. Like, from what I'm seeing here, what the proposals were very kind of high-end. If you saw FGCU, right? Like, I don't think we need to go that big and that fancy, to be honest with you. I think it's more about the information aspect of it, and I bet we could do it cheaper without, of course, making it look cheap. So.
Remember we talked about this? So it would be helpful to have an electronic.
Right, exactly. So, I mean, I think, and, we did move it up in the prioritization that we're going to present to them to our second item, right? We're talking about linear park, then electronic signage, then community pavilion. I think that's fine. I think this is great for the Commons Park, right? They're going to make a decision to put that up there. I still think that we need to find a way to advertise to the community then. So I'm not willing to let it go. I appreciate the information, but I think.
Right, and just to share from staff perspective, given the fact that the board did not move forward with an electronic sign, I just feel like, or is our opinion that the odds of trying to get something approved may, hit some challenges with the Board of Supervisors. So I just want to put that on the record that's something that was presented. There was a lengthy discussion, if I do recall correctly, with Chelsea and the board, and this is where they landed with this option here.
And I appreciate that too, right? But it's a matter of, it's a matter of this committee has never formally presented it, right? So if they want to reject, that's fine, but we need to kind of put this stuff on the record and say, okay, we as a committee representing the community feel it's important and this is why. And we need you to say why, or if it's not, that's fine. But again, we've been charged with finding a way to advertise effectively and communicate the events effectively. This is what we feel we should do. They have the ability to say no, that's okay. So I appreciate what you're saying, right? It's an uphill battle for sure. But
I think what you're saying, Paul, it's a potential revenue source.
right, we just
And
need,
we've got to put it on maybe the back burner at this point, but it should be down there.
Well, the problem is the upfront cost. I mean, it can certainly generate income down the road, but they're viewing it as, why go out of pocket now for something that you hope to recoup later on?
well, and again, we're talking about, we have a budget now of $200,000. We're talking about putting some of that towards Linear Park. We still have a remaining budget. When that decision was made, we didn't have a budget for this committee to work with. So now we do, right? So if they want to say no to that, and we saw some of the signage, if correct me if I'm wrong, I believe was in the 150,000s, not all were 200 plus thousands, right? So to me, it's something that makes even more sense now that they've separated out the funds for us to find ways to promote things. And I would like them just to say no and why. And then at that point, we could say, okay, that $150,000 can go towards something else. And we really, I don't want to be like, I don't want to take responsibility for it, but at the same time, if they say no, there's nothing left for us to do. We can continue to advocate and fight for it. That's what an advisory committee does. Right? So.
Paul, I did notice Tamara did have her hand raised. If you could just give her a few seconds to catch up, and maybe she could add to the discussion. She stepped away, so I think we could proceed.
She did message me. So we talked about advertising and paying the advertisement on these digital signs, right? Seems like they looked only at the large digital screens, which is what I was kind of just talking about. Why couldn't they approve signage, electronic running screen with just text? I agree. I'm on the same page as you, is what she stated. So, right. I don't think, again, going back to my comment, I think we could do it in a way that isn't cheesy or anything like that, right? But it allows us for a smaller budget than what was presented originally to use funds from what we've been budgeted to move this forward, right? And listen, maybe it's a proof of concept. Maybe we get through 2 or 3 seasons with this smaller solution. We find that it is possible to generate revenue from it, right? Vendors want to advertise on these signs. Then we invest in something bigger, right? Once we prove the concept. But I think I don't feel that this was presented in a staged approach to allow that to be something to consider, right? It was like, oh, here's $250,000. We want this screen. I think we need to approach it in a different way. And that's what I'm proposing that we do, right? So.
Well, regardless, this is going to be the sign, sounds like.
Comment.
Yes, that
So
comments, that's
fine.
correct.
We'll just move on with a proposal of our own at some point. I'm curious, where would be the best location?
All of that.
Chelsea did put this packet together, and I have not met with her. And at some point, I'd like to do that and talk a little bit more about how on trying to find sponsors to help us with some of the financials. Somebody might just say, I'll donate a sign. Not unusual.
And it kind of leads into the next topic about the soccer field too. It's like something I've brought up is there's no scoreboard at the soccer field, right?
Right.
Which would definitely allow signage to be posted on the
Absolutely.
scoreboard,
Absolutely.
you know, so maybe, you know, our approach is a little different. And if we're not talking about putting a digital sign on Gateway Boulevard that's flashy and big for people to see, maybe we propose investing in a scoreboard that people can advertise onto, or that instead, right? So,
I know Gateway Charter High School has a really nice scoreboard,
mhm,
and I'm not sure how they got that, but
Right.
it could be a donation.
mhm.
It's not unusual.
Right. So that's the next thing, soccer field lighting, prediction system evaluation. Do you want to talk a little bit about that, Paul?
Yes, so the staff, the team has looked into other alternative for lightning detection systems. And we did look at Beauregard's system, which when we did the analysis, it came in, costs came in much higher. I think we estimated somewhere around $32,000 upfront costs. Whereas today we have a system that works, we have no issues, and it's only costing us about $2,600 annually. So it's our recommendation just to continue with Earth Networks lightning detection systems. And but we wanted to share this with the committee that we did look into this, and it's just cost prohibitive from our perspective.
What are the benefits? Like, what does it do better than what we have? Because I mean, I don't mind the system we have now. I think it's fine.
You know what, I could not find much of a difference. So I mean, I think for the costs, let's just kind of stick with what we have today.
I think
It's
great.
our recommendation.
It's an annoying enough alarm, and it's easy enough to read on your phones when you get an alert. I think it's just fine. Cool. All right.
So no action required
No
on this
action
one,
there.
just, you know, just
Okay. Thank you.
Presentation of capital improvement items for or from PRAC. So this is what we talked about last time, creating a slide deck. That's what I have in front of you, is a slide deck to them. There's really nothing different than what we discussed within this slide deck. Talked about moving some priorities around between the three, right? We actually moved the electronic signage up to 2. It was listed at 3 originally. So we moved the community pavilion down to that, because that's going to be later on in, you know, a few years down the line. So you could look through it. I don't need to read every single item, because it's really just what I reported on last time. I do want to point out an additional item on page 5 in the linear park improvements is where I do call out sequencing conditions for the FPL Orange River Puma transmission line. So I mentioned that in there. So that'll be on the slide deck for the board. Okay. Paul, when is the next meeting?
next Thursday.
Next Thursday, not this Thursday, right?
I'm sorry, it is this Thursday, I'm sorry.
I'm out of town for this Thursday, so we would have to present it the following meeting,
The 18th.
the 18th.
Yep.
Okay. So the plan is for me to come to that board meeting and present this to them at that time, because again, I am out of town for this meeting. But I do want to get it to Carrie and Paul to put on the agenda, get over to George. Right, so the main thing here for us is to decide if we need anything changed with this, if anyone feels that there needs to be additions. And that's what we kind of blocked out time today to discuss. Again, I pretty much held true to what we had discussed, just kind of outlining the important bullet points for each thing. You know, I think the linear park, just to recap on that, I think that's a quick and easy win, right? Activity information on each of the stations. So I'd add in, and we hadn't really officially made a decision on it, but the idea of having QR code exercise routines or community info that we can also put at these stations at Linear Park. I I did do a little bit more research on that, and it becomes a very kind of easy solution to, again, give updates on community events. But also, we could do, make recommendations for exercises at these stations. We could do different activities at these stations, and very easy to update these things, right? We don't need to go crazy with hiring a company to do it. It's something that we could kind of take in-house, have a volunteer that can post things on a site that, you know, makes recommendations at certain stations. One of us can do it. It gives us a lot of flexibility. So again, it was just kind of ideas for improvements there, along with the disc golf that is going to be put in. And then the electronic signage. And right now, I have electronic signage at Commons Park. Now, we've just seen that that's not going to be the case. But I think we could leave this actually as is, and I could explain that we understand that that's not going to happen. However, we still feel that the rest of these apply, maybe not at that area, but in different places in Gateway, and we could, kind of take it from there.
Well, the soccer field is an obvious choice.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Right.
So if I could get some clarification, Paul. So we were looking for one project to be budgeted, and so that we would know what to include in next year's fiscal year budget.
Yep.
So is that something that we're able to vote on today, or is that something on June 18th that you're hoping to present to the board and kind of get some direction? Because staff ideally would like to move forward with, if number one is the linear park and the stations, and that's something that, the committee could vote on today. And then we could start planning and start looking at what it would take to implement those improvements.
I agree, and I think that's what the goal is, right? But the idea of having a list to prioritize is to really kind of keep things moving forward. And also, if they say, for whatever reason, I don't think this is going to happen, but let's say they say no to our linear park recommendations, well, then there's two other options that we want to see next. That's the concept, right? I think that we could definitely vote on presenting this as far as linear park being the priority. We'd like to see that first, and then the other two, then yes, we could definitely say that today, right? And at that point, Paul, if they come back and say, you're only able, or we're only considering the linear park, that's great. We've accomplished the goal, right?
We don't have a specific plan, though, for linear park.
Just to invest in the improvements and what I'm mentioning here, right, on top of the disc golf.
Oh, okay.
As far as the stations go.
No, where is that? Where's
It's in the minutes for last time, but
Oh, okay.
Bill, if you look also on page
I
5,
remember seeing it and talking.
you'll see in the scope, activity information stations along the corridor and the gift.
Yeah, we talked about disc golf,
Yeah.
exercise path. Is that right?
Right.
Yeah, okay. What about a playground? Did we talk about a playground there?
We've talked about a playground, but we've also discussed not entertaining that right now because of the new playground and everything going over at the Commons.
Right, okay. Well, if we started with like 2 items, exercise.
Well, that's the great thing about that whole thing, is that we could grow and expand that, right, without a huge impact to budget.
Right, absolutely.
And it's a quick improvement.
And it's a non-used area right
Right.
now.
Right.
And it's got to be relatively low impact because we have neighbors. And I think that's a perfect solution.
I mean, to make it official, like I can make a motion to present this to the Board of Supervisors. And as far as our advisory committee goes, we'd like to move forward as soon as possible with the first priority of the linear park improvements. And that's for the recommendation on the next 2 at that point.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Yes.
Aye. Great.
Very good, thank you.
Does that help?
Yes, it does.
Good.
Okay.
Because there are some things we have to price out there that we.
Awesome. Okay, so then sunsetting the fun park and the dog park relocation plan.
So yes, so just kind of follow up from the public comment regarding the dog park. On May the 7th, the Board of Supervisors directed staff to, come up with a conceptual plan and schedule, and then we're also kind of gathering the costs associated with sunsetting the fun park, also looking at relocating the dog park. If you recall, we've been working on a parking lot expansion here in Sherman Soccer Complex, which would be at the same location at the current dog park. So we're getting near the point where we're going to be able to get a permit for construction. So that being said, we kind of start needing, we're starting to need a plan to start relocating that dog park to another location so that we could commence construction of the parking lot expansion. So what I'm looking for from the subcommittee is some direction and some input in regards to the options that are presented here, which is A, to authorize staff to proceed with bear with me. We can move the dog park to the fun park, and this right here kind of shows you kind of like a tentative outline of what the dog park will look at the fun park. The second option would be to and the first option is a smaller size. Originally, I think the size of the existing dog park.
In the commons area, right?
Right, so the existing dog park is 205 feet by 155 feet.
Okay.
So what we're proposing is a new dog park at the fun park at 130 feet by 90 feet. So the first option is to either A, relocate the dog park at the same size. Option 2 is to match, or the new size, the smaller size. The second option is to match the existing layout and size of the dog park. Option 3 is to wait until the Commons Park opens up and we can relocate it there. And of course, option 4 is to discontinue with the dog park entirely. So those are the 4 options that we're looking to get some input from the committee. So we could go back to the Board of Supervisors as far as presenting a plan to try to meet sunsetting the fun park and also relocating the dog park. If that makes sense.
Yes.
Okay.
Tamara asked to be unmuted. She has a comment to make on this.
Okay.
We're working on it, Tamara.
Hey, can you unmute yourself, Tamara?
Yeah, try to unmute and speak, Tamara. I'm muted and chat is turned off, she's saying. Okay.
For some reason, it's not allowing me to unmute her.
Hey, can you hear me?
Yep,
Yes.
gotcha. There you go.
Hello?
Hi there.
Okay, it looks like can you guys hear me now?
Yes, we could hear you.
Hi, well, there's about a 12-second delay. So I'll talk slow. Okay. I just want to say the option on the dog park, I seriously, a year and a half ago, thought we got rid of that idea when we had all of a couple of communities come in and bring that to both the Park and Rec as well as the Board of Supervisors.
That is correct, Tamara. So I believe in 2024, this item was brought forward to the advisory committee to relocate the dog park
They
from
finally
Sherman.
said they put it to rest and they would not move the dog park to the fun park.
And this is the direction that the board of supervisors have given staff.
It's happened to me too.
Yeah, there's major delay.
Okay, so now I understand, Tamara, there's a big delay, so it's okay.
Okay, thanks, Paul.
Yep.
I
So-
just, bring,
I-
you know, some of the community back into a Board of Supervisors meeting to readdress that.
Yeah, so as far as bringing the community back in to readdress it, absolutely. I feel that that's what always needs to happen, right? Again, if the Board of Supervisors isn't getting the communication that this is a problem for whatever reason, then, you know, the community needs to go and explain why they feel it's an issue, right? So, like I said earlier, I think it's the option 4 of eliminating the dog park is not feasible. It's not something that we're going to entertain. It's not something that we're going to recommend. And it's not something that I feel the Board of Supervisors is going to move forward with, right? That's not the intent. The intent is to use the space that we have in the best way possible. So to accommodate everyone, you know, and make it a pleasurable experience. Now, are things going to change and locations going to move? It's going to happen, right? To be honest with you, I don't know if moving the dog park, I understand going over to the fun park isn't what people want to hear, but we're going to have that space where, keep in mind, the plan originally years ago was to move the dog park to the fun park while the fun park still existed. Now we're talking about moving the dog park to the fun park in placement of the fun park, right? Where the fun park will no longer exist. Is that a problem, right? To be honest, again, I don't have a dog. I don't know if that's a problem. Is it a problem with the neighbors? Is that what the
Can I
consideration is?
just give a point of clarification
Yeah.
here? I'm looking at the map
Yeah.
of this proposed dog park, and I see a pool cage within sight of this.
Right,
Is that
Very
a
close.
problem? You're darn right that's a problem.
right. But has it been a problem with the fun park and people playing sports?
No,
and
I
things
don't
there?
think so. I don't think it's the same thing at all. I think
Okay.
a dog park's a completely different thing.
Right.
So I would say this is a no-go. No-go. Forget it.
Yeah.
That's my opinion.
Okay,
For what
and
it's
if
worth.
I could just add, you know, looking back, because I had to do some research, because I was advised that this item was brought initially back in 2024. The community was not well receptive to the idea. The original layout of the dog park was on the further southern portion of the fun park,
Of the fun park, yeah.
and I do apologize because this map that probably does no justice, but it was really, it encompassed the entire southern,
Right, over there.
northern
Yeah,
portion
right,
of the
right.
fun park. This, and then there was also issue with barrier. Since then, we've added some plantings all along behind the homes, so to kind of give some sort of buffer from, you know, the park itself and the homeowners. And so what we're proposing is to kind of get it as far away from the residential homes as possible to try to minimize that. But we're also talking 100 dog park users is what we have on record today. And just to also add is that we do notice that there's a lot of residents that use this dog park as they walk their dogs as well. So, you know, is that going to be an issue? I understand there's going to be some concerns from, you know, nearby residents, but looking at all the options or constraints, because the parking lot expansion project is continuing to move forward. But the challenge right now is, okay, we have a dog park, so what do we do with that? and the relocation is ideally the first step. Now, to move it to the commons, I had to kind of share with the committee is that there would be a gap of time when we would have to sunset or close Dick's Dog Park in order to allow the Commons Park to be built, constructed, and then open a new dog park. So there would be a gap of time there.
Yeah,
So
I would submit if the gap was known to the dog park users and it was going to be a month or 2 months, they could see the light. It'd be ideal if we had no gap at all. They just move from one to the other, but if that can't be done. So what do you think it might take? A few months?
So, and that's the other thing. So to be able to move the dog park today to the fun park, there's permitting required.
Right.
We're looking at, and our initial estimate that we received from a fencing company, it's about $30,000. So that's just a base. That's not including power, water, and internet to be able to access the fob key. And this could also be done on low budget. We just have a combination lock, so allow dog card holders or those users of the dog park just to walk in and out with just a combination lock. But if we're going to kind of give them the same thing where you have to have a fob key and access, then it requires, power, internet, and also water. We would have to, get a new water meter, potable water meter to be able to provide water to dogs. And it would also, open the opportunity for water for anyone at the park as well. But so those are some of the challenges. That's kind of where we're at. Those are the constraints that we're dealing with. We're trying to, number one, which we really would like to move forward, it's a parking lot expansion. But the obstacle or the challenge for us is, what do we do with the dog park? Do we hold it off, or do we relocate it, number one? Do we go really bare bone basic, number one? Number two, give them exactly what they have today. Or number three, wait until the Commons Park is open, which at that point in time, there is a designated area in the design of the dog park, the Commons Park for this, and it kind of laid it out. It's right here in this corner here, if you could see it. So
How big is that? Do we have any idea?
I don't know in reference to what they have today, but that's something that would be available once everything's fully built out. So it may be latter part of this year. It's hard for me to say that. I mean,
Yeah.
there would be a gap of time.
I wonder if we could move that up a little bit.
But it also, so the budget or the expense that we would invest into the fun park to relocate the dog park maybe could be diverted to this, but it would involve asking all the dog park users to be patient until the time comes that we're able to provide them with, that
This has
amenity.
other potential for them. I mean, there's bathrooms there, there's, they can bring their kids with them, the kids can go swimming.
This by far makes the most amount of sense.
It absolutely does.
Yes, 100%. It's
There's
But-
just no neighbors around.
and listen, good things take time, right? People just need to understand that we're going as fast as we can with it. However, there's a difference between saying be patient and wait between 90 days and 6 months, and be patient and wait, we'll have it done at the end of 2029. You know what I mean? I'm not saying that, but I think we need to be really communicative with explaining that there's a plan, right? Like, listen, we need to move forward with that parking lot expansion now. That's an immediate problem we have.
That's a priority, yes.
Right.
I would stress that.
Right? And we're going to, focus on making this happen as soon as possible. I think what I would like to see, what really determines, does it even really determine where it goes, right? You're saying, Bill, that there's no way we go over to the fun park with it. It
I
would
would
just be
absolutely
too
not.
disruptive.
Not entertain that at all.
And I believe Tamara says the same thing, right? And what she's saying to
But
me here.
I would
It's-
suggest this. Since we are in a place where we've got some potential, we got a little bit of time. Let's see what the contractor would say about pushing that forward. And maybe the board needs to be weigh in on that. Because that's a big factor. I mean, I would like to, dog people are fierce. They have certain ideas and they want to have these taken care of. I don't have a dog myself, but I'd probably be the same way. I've got a neighbor who's very much into that dog park.
Well, right, and we all know the Commons Park and our new administration building is under construction. So, I mean, the progress is being shown to the community.
Oh, yes.
So all we would ask is for the dog park users just to be a little bit patient, and maybe that's something we bring to the Board of Supervisors to see what can we do to kind of advance that
Show them
timeline.
some evidence it's moving
Right,
forward.
but ideally, I would support if that's the direction that you want to go, because it would resolve a lot of issues, and it would at least give us a focus area that, and also allow us for planning purposes, because like I said, to relocate it currently from Sherman to the fun park, there's going to be a lot of permitting, a lot of expense, a lot of investment. And if the community may be, struggling to accept that, then that could be a challenge for us. It could be a problem. So
I'm a dog owner. I don't use the dog park, but I could understand why a lot of dog owners would be upset if you took something away from them, even temporary. But what I'm not clear on is why would there be a gap in time? Why would people have to wait for something else to happen?
because right now we're getting really close to being able to pull the permit, the building permit for the parking lot expansion. And once we were able to get that, we're going to go out to bid, and we would like to get construction started sooner rather than later. So we're not going to be, it's not like a simultaneous transaction or simultaneous event where we could have the Commons Park open fully, dog park ready to go, at the same time close the old dog park and then start construction. So, I mean, the construction is, the more you wait, the more costs you can incur. So ideally, we'd like to take advantage of that opportunity and then just ask the dog park users to just be a little patient with us. We're going to get to where everybody wants us to get to. It's just going to take us a little time.
Just be communicated to these users.
Well, that's the thing, right? And I think that's where we have to be creative and really transparent about what's happening. Going back to my comment, we need to understand that timeline so we could give them an actual timeline.
Exactly.
Right.
Is this a phase 2, the dog park? Or is it phase 1?
And that's the information we need to gather. But if the committee, is this the direction you want to go, then we could go back to the Board of Supervisors and then also tying up the timeline, or, try to get that ironed out so that we could, discuss it first of all to the Board of Supervisors. Like the PRAC Advisory Committee would like to go, relocate it to the Commons Park, and try to work out the timeline for that, because we would have to communicate that, and we'd have to explain that to the dog park users.
It wouldn't be a tremendous amount of work for the contractor to spend a little bit more time on that. But I think the board has got to make a decision about that. They could really ease the pain here by just saying we're pushing that ahead.
Right, so it all is all contingent on the timeline of the project, of the Commons Park, and also, budget as well. So, I mean, but I think that's kind of getting the direction that this is where you want to go. Not to move the dog park to the fun park, but to kind of wait until the Commons Park is fully built out and dog parks be built at that location.
I'd like to make a motion to propose to the Board of Supervisors that we do move the dog park to the Commons area. However, we also, in order to communicate that to the community, we need a timeline of expediting the dog park at the Commons area.
Exactly. I second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And again, just for the record, and so the community knows, it is not our advisement that they get rid of the dog park altogether. So this is temporary
First
space.
thing they need to
Right,
know.
right.
Very good, thank you.
And if you could give us some idea about the size of that dog park Commons area so we could make some comparison. I know it's considerably smaller, probably.
I'd have to look into that. But that's information that, not only would we share with this committee, but also with the board of supervisors.
Emma also just made a comment. She says, does Pelican Preserve have a dog park? And if so, can we try to work with them to get reciprocity while we get our new dog park up and running?
That's quite a drive.
And It's,
Yeah.
it's also privately, I mean, that's their, their community association, so that's a benefit that they provide to their residents. It's not a district asset, so I don't foresee that being an option.
It's definitely, it's good thinking out of the box. It's a good idea.
But I do want to just clarify, so we will proceed with sunsetting the fun park and be able to move forward with that. It's just going to be a matter of trying to figure out, how do we transition it to the dog park to the Commons Park? Okay. Is there any additional questions or concerns?
Hey there.
Very good. And before I get to the next item, I just kind of want to point out, because we're going to talk about the pickleball noise reduction discussion. I just kind of want to point out where the pickleball courts are going to be at, and they're north-south orientation, because that's going to be important when we talk about the next item.
Oh, north-south.
Yes.
Gotcha.
Okay.
Yeah, because originally they were the other way, right? They were east-west.
Right.
Okay.
Well, I'm not sure, but this is the current plan that I know of. I'm sorry.
They were
Just
never
clarify.
east-west.
Oh, they were never east-west?
No, because of sunsetting and sunrise. You don't ever want to play into
Gotcha,
the
yep.
lake.
Makes sense. Okay.
Yeah, it does make sense. Thank you, whoever that was.
That's Chelsea.
That's Chelsea. The voice from above.
Noah?
It's Oz coming from.
All right, so, okay, that's the dog park, the fun park. Okay, Paul, do you want to talk about the pickleball noise reduction?
Yes, so this is an item that's been brought up to the board of supervisors, and there's nearby residents that have concern regarding the pickleball and the noise that may impact their homes.
Right.
So what we're presenting here, or what we're seeking some direction from PRAC, is to see if there's anything additional that we need to do to kind of mitigate the noise factor. So what we've included in the agenda item is just kind of like the barometer of what's quiet, if you look at the agenda item itself.
Sure.
30 to 40 decibels is quiet, 40 to 50 is typical suburban neighborhood, 50 to 60 is normal conversations, and then 60 to 70 is busy street traffic. So what we took, Chelsea and I, back in July of last year, we did took some measurements, and this was when there was a lot of construction going on at the Commons Park. And what we were able to get as far as readings is anywhere from 42.5 to 42.8 decibels at that time. And those were some really loud, backup alarms and heavy trucks at that given time.
Right.
Also, we kind of want to point out the Lee County ordinance, noise ordinance. During the day, it's acceptable to go up to 72 decibels. And at night, it drops to about 65. So I just kind of want to share that with the advisory committee.
Oh, well below. Yeah.
Right, it's still well below. And the other factor, which we kind of already mentioned, is that those courts are going to be north-south. So that noise is going to go north and south. It won't go to the residential east or west that some of the residents are a little concerned about. So
Okay.
Terry, you live in Hampton. Have you heard any complaints about the pickleball courts?
Yeah, okay.
No, I'm talking about the ones we have.
I don't play and I live on the.
Okay.
Well, we
Yeah.
have them in Gateway Greens, and there are homes that,
Right there.
right
Really
there
close.
next to the court, and nobody's ever really granted, it's only 2 courts, but play is over, at dusk, and, it's not interfering with anybody's sleep. So no one's ever really complained about it over in Gateway Greens.
This may be going a little further than we have to, but is there an option for us to pull decibel levels from currently open pickleball parks? Like, is there a study that we could have access to, that, you know, presenting the same kind of amount of quartz, how much noise it produces, just to, I mean, because who knows, right? Somebody says, well, it's a frequency decimal that is known to be louder, like who?
Well, is it also to the crowd that it might attract? And
Right.
people talking and yelling and calling out different things that go beyond just the hitting of a ball,
Yeah.
you know, to an
And just
opponent.
to expand on what you were mentioning, Paul, so Carrie did pull this data from the pickleball, website.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
And so and if you see, it gives you some, the paddle ball is
Great.
85 to
I gotta
90,
read
and
this.
then once you get to 100 feet,
Yep.
it drops. So at 500 feet, it's about 55 decibels, which is really
Really nothing.
minimal. And then, so if you look at, and I do believe we have a map that kind of shows the perimeter or the distance. So this is 1,000 feet perimeter around, the Commons Park. So
Yeah.
at that point in time, at the most, based upon the industry, they would be getting about 55 decimals.
At the
And that's
most.
not even factoring all
Right.
the shrubbery and trees that are kind of like blocking or barriers
They're making
around.
more noise at the pool.
Right, right. So,
For sure. So, okay.
so I mean, so that kind of just gives you an indication, but I mean, we could entertain adding additional, hedges or trees or bushes, but staff recommendation is just kind of just hold off and let's see how it goes.
Well,
But
let's see how it goes, because we could always add some type of barrier that mutes things out too, right?
exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. But we don't, at this point, with everything that we know and what we've measured, we're not really concerned with the noise factor and impacting residents
Paul.
nearby.
I agree. I
Yes.
think oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Can I chime in real quick?
Absolutely.
So the impetus behind taking existing decibels was to determine the baseline, right?
Hmm.
And if there were to be a noise complaint, like today, if you had a noise complaint, you would call the sheriff's office, and the sheriff's office would come out and they would bring their decibel reader, because it has to be calibrated so many times a year. Like there's things that they have to follow. If it's, I don't know if it's statutes or if it's the ordinance, but the sheriff's office would be the one to write
Right.
the ticket. And so that's why when we took these readings, a year ago, we said, hey, can you meet us out there? Can we measure these things? I'm leery on going and measuring a different facility because there are different circumstances around those
Right.
facilities. So for an example, the one that immediately comes to mind is the one over by Page Field. Well, there's an airport right next to it. So
Yeah, exactly.
it may
It's gonna
pick
bleed
up
over.
things. Exactly. So
Listen, okay, I appreciate that, and absolutely, it makes complete sense. I think, just to put on the record, I think the due diligence that you all have done well exceeds, right, what we need, right? I think the placement is the perfect spot. I think with these readings that you're pointing out in the report, I think it's fine. So,
The only thing I would add is that if we find that the noise is, we have ways that we can ascertain
yeah,
what the decibel levels are, and we can remediate the situation.
but
and
again,
I echo that, and I want to be clear, like, it's not that we're trying to be inactive or not be proactive to address this. It's, hey, there are alternative remediation things that we can do. If it's putting up the windscreen or the noise screen, if it's adding additional plantings as a buffer immediately adjacent to the courts themselves, if it's adding additional landscaping or a buffer on the perimeter of the site, there are options. We're not saying that there's not. It's just until it's up and functional and we take those physical readings, we're all shooting in the dark.
yep,
Exactly.
yep,
Here.
makes sense. Well, I don't think there's any, that's just informational, right?
Right, there's no action required,
Yeah,
like I
I
said,
think it's
unless you felt like additional plantings were required, so.
I think it's really good, and I'm very excited for it, so. Great. Okay, last thing is fee schedule.
Yeah, so this is the latest fee schedule with updates from the Board of Supervisors. Just a few things to note, if I could just magnify this, bear
We're
with
gonna have
me.
to go in a little more for that.
Yes.
Okay.
So a few things to note. One is that the hours, the lighting charge per hour was increased to $50. The non-resident use of the soccer fields was increased to $200 per hour. There was a comment regarding not allowing, there was, the rate was initially less than the league's rate. And we didn't want someone to come in and kind of do a quasi-league at a lower rate. So for non-residents wanting to use the fields, it's $200 an hour.
Okay.
There's also a discussion regarding giving an exemption to the youth sports, and the board rejected that as well. So, but this is the latest and greatest. It is going back to discussion on Thursday of this week on the 4th, and then the public hearing is scheduled for June the 18th. Just wanted to see if there was any additional discussion or comments regarding the fee schedule.
Well, I zoom in on the dog park fee of $75. And that's for resident, right?
Yes.
It just points to, again, being transparent and letting them know how long it's going to take, right? I don't want,
List of them, so.
right,
Should be-
yeah. Just, I don't want people.
Like I
pushing
said,
back.
currently today, we have about 100 users of the
Yeah.
dog park, so.
That's good.
Any additional comments or input?
Parking at all district parks, $2 an hour.
Yes, for non-residents.
Non-resident.
Yeah,
Non-residents.
for non-residents, that's correct.
And we're still working on the plan to collect that.
Yes, so we are looking to implement that sometime during the summer to be effective for the fall leagues. So that's something we are coordinating with the vendor today to try to, do a rollout of that.
Something,
That would include recording the time in and the time out.
Yes.
something
Yes.
I heard that was interesting is that, I heard somebody say that they're not going to come to Winterfest if they're going to be charged for parking. So, just to put on the record, I assume event parking is different, right? I mean, what happens in the case of an event? Is there going to be situations where we cancel the parking fee for certain things at certain times? That's what the question is.
Yes, that's an option. Of course, we would have to have board approval. But yes, I think that was some discussion has already been had regarding special events hosted by the district, of course.
By the
Yeah.
district, right, okay.
Right, and just to also add that the $2 is for all non-residents. So
Non-residents,
even if you're a non-resident and a dog park user, you still have to be, you'll still be required to pay the $2 per hour. I just want to clarify that.
And I understand. So they could pay the non-resident dog park fee, but then they still need to pay the parking fee because they're non-resident.
That's correct.
Yep. Okay.
That's correct.
Great.
Yeah, I don't think we need an action on this. It's
No,
just more
just
just
info.
for, informational and see if there was any other things that you wanted to bring back to the board of supervisors.
The only thing that is, again, stands out is the dog park resident fee, right? And the pushback that we might get on that. But again, I think we just need to give them as well as we can the info that exists, and we're not getting rid of it.
Yeah, that's number one.
It's number one. Let's clean that up on Facebook.
People can rely on what they read on.
Paul,
Okay.
are you guys on the fee schedule?
Yes, we're on the fee
Yes,
schedule.
we're on a fee schedule right now, Chelsea.
Okay, so all of the peach colored items are things that the board kind of kicked back to you guys. the biggest thing that they had as a point of conversation, Paul, if you scroll up a little bit, was the whole membership card conversation. Because, and you guys have had lengthy conversations, I know, about determining the family and enforcing and up to 4 and, all of these what if scenarios. They basically, they pushed it back to you guys saying, hey, we need to mull over this a little bit more and contemplate what the costs look like, or how do we handle do we say it's up to 4 people? Do we say it's up to 6 people? Or do we say, like, you guys need to talk through this a little bit more? I told them it's not as time sensitive, especially if we're not going to open up to non-residents right now, which is why they're proceeding with the fee schedule for a public hearing on June 18th without the peach items. It was more time sensitive because of the soccer complex and getting those rates in, anticipating the leagues trying to preparing for the rental for fall. So if you guys want to continue to talk through the membership cards, and how or what that looks like. And then same thing, like one of the examples we talked about was like the reserve court concept. So if you recall, that layout that we had, really the court sports, it's 4, 4, 4, 4, 8, 12, 4 for the pickleball courts. I think it's 4, 4, 4. And so generally, I think we've been talking about having 8 courts be kind of pick up any time of the day for our residents to come in, first come, first serve type thing. But then the other 4 courts would be kind of earmarked for either leagues that we create or run or contract with somebody to run, or if it's potentially reserved court play. So if Tamara wants to go play pickleball, but she doesn't want to wait for the round robin and sit out there for an hour and wait for turn. If she wants to pay, $10 and guarantee a court that's during the time that she has an allotted, window of opportunity to go play, then hey, then we can offer those 4 courts as like a pay to play type idea. So I know we've talked about that. Again, we're all ears. Operationally, we're gonna tweak and change and, as we learn with this facility and what the demands are, but that's the gist of why this is back in your court, is to look at these peach colored items.
Chelsea. Is it Chelsea?
Yes.
I think I couldn't offer a comment right now because I don't really know what the usage is going to be. But I do have a little bit of a problem with kind of a separation of courts for specialized purposes until we know that that's something we have to do. I just don't like that idea. It's like a little country club operating inside the people that are going to pay for it to reserve 4 courts. Or
one of the conversations, because we've already been approached by a gentleman who wants to run a youth league out of here, is one of the concepts that we've talked about is he would be required to rent the courts, and on top of that there would be a 70-30 or 80-20 split of whatever revenues that he would make from those courts. So from a programming perspective, the board has made it very clear they want additional programs and us to implement these. This was one idea. It's not, we haven't signed any contracts or anything, but just again, food for thought. That's why this is up here for you guys to discuss amongst yourselves.
Chelsea, if I can also add, restricting the non-resident membership as well. I do believe that's something that we need to kind of have the committee discuss and get some direction as far as do we allow non-residents. Now, if I could just share from the staffing side or from the district side, that's revenue. So restricting the non-resident, although maybe there's a period initially that we do not allow non-residents, but at some point we'd like to see, is there a mix or a blend or, an ability to be able to incorporate non-residents? So I just want to just pose that out there as a question.
Yeah, and we've discussed that before, right? And I think with a new amenity, we owe it to the community first to kind of run through it, right? It's here for us. We're paying for it, right? So make sure that everyone within the community gets the opportunity. And I think we're going to, like you said, learn a lot really quickly about what the demand is, right? Do we, separate out at that point to make room for leagues and yeah, absolutely. They're revenue generating for sure, right? But I mean, if you look at the club Ken just said has 2 courts, right? And I don't know how many members are over there, but 2 courts seem to accommodate all of those people. So I wonder how big it would actually be over at Commons. So I think it does require a staged approach. And as far as like what the fees should be, I think it also depends on demand, right?
Right.
And it's really hard. I appreciate this coming back to us now, but it's hard to make those determinations until we see what's happening with it.
Right. And so, I mean, it's understandable that, or it's understood that we will have to make amendments.
Right.
I mean, and there's a lot of things, there are a lot of variables, a lot of unknowns, and the only way we can find out is once it opens. But
I will say that what I don't want to see is, 4 courts being used by community and then 4 courts just being left open where the community obviously is showing a demand, and we have these 4 courts sitting over here that are just waiting for a club or league or whatever.
That's kind of what I'm reacting to.
Right.
Right.
So I'd rather early on, and maybe it's on a monthly basis that we're looking at this, but early on, open it to the community. Let the courts be, and then we start scheduling those kind of events or clubs or leagues after, maybe we open up two of those courts because the demand is proving that 6 out of the 8 are being used by the community and these 2 kind of are always empty, right? Just a thought.
if I could just kind of end, or my last comment regarding the fee schedule is that the Board of Supervisors has tasked, Chelsea and the district, and including myself and Carrie, to kind of come up with a 3-year plan to try to get Parks and Rec to be, break even or exceed as far as on the revenue side. So just keep in mind that that's going to be a challenge for us, and revenue is something that we'll have to incorporate into any sort of planning. So just so that everyone is aware that that's something that's going to be on our plates to try to deal with. So
without a doubt, I'm not saying that it should just be left to whenever anyone wants to use it. We have an amenity that is very valuable, right? So I'm not saying, just to be clear, that we shouldn't take advantage of the revenue generating possibilities of the court, and we need to do that. But early on, as it's a new amenity, the last thing I want to do is block people from being able to experience what we have here. Right? Because when we're talking about revenue, we need the community to spread the word. Look at how great we are. Look at these things that we have. We build it appropriately. So I'm just saying the revenue portion of it hasn't escaped my mind. I do want to say that Tamara just sent to me, my suggestion is keep 4 courts always around robin for residents, 4 with option to rent. Simple to post a sign when the 4 are rented. Public parks do this round robin all the time.
Aren't people walking? I thought the whole idea is that people were going to schedule their time. So why would anything have to be posted that?
I think we were trying to come up with a mix between schedule versus just open, come as you are, or when you want to play. So
yeah,
it's just trying to find that balance of what, how many do we keep, locked into for appointments. And
one of the things they do over at Gateway Greens, and if you're a club member, they do have time set aside for open play. People can drop in, as long as you're a club member, you can use the court. Then at other times, club members can go with their friends, they can have time to schedule time to use the courts, but there are specific blocks of time used, like the ladies might have Mondays and Wednesdays from 7:30 till 9 o'clock on a Monday and Wednesday. And you can just drop in and join that group. But
It's a big one.
So
Pickleball is tough.
if I
Especially in
if I can chime
season.
in. So I think
Especially-
what we're suggesting is that kind of combination. So
Yeah.
8 of the 12 courts would be open free play, drop in anytime, open to residents, come in, put your paddles in line. It's there for our residents to play. 4 of those courts, obviously when they're not rented per se or league play, those 2 would be free play up, just
Anybody can
eligible,
schedule
open. Yeah, but then this would give us an opportunity for, and we've been speaking with this gentleman, trying to start up a youth pickleball program here, thinking this would be a great opportunity that you don't see youth pickleball leagues
Yeah.
anywhere. That this may be and understand too, like we approve when he could rent these courts. Like we
Right.
drive that schedule. We say, hey, we only have availability from this time to this time on these dates. So we're the driver of that ship. But I don't want to say no off the cuff, because there may be enough drive for a youth league. There may not be. But really kind of to the point where if you don't at least try, you know the answer already. So, but I want to be clear, the majority of these 8 courts, I would 100% say that are open play, as long as the facility is open throughout the day.
I think it fits the mission of Parks and Recreation.
Yeah.
To consider a youth league. I mean, that is ultimately our goal, is to get kids involved.
100%.
All right, good.
So,
That's
so
great.
Paul, kind of what I'm, inferring is that based upon, because we've had a lot of discussions on this topic, and I think it may be best just to, let the board of supervisors know that we want to move forward with this fee schedule. And then if there are changes that need to be made, we could come back to them, or.
The only, and I think I brought this up last time, the only thing that I really don't understand I don't understand on the level of how we're going to manage it again, is this resident family up to 4. And then what if the overage of above 4 being $5 a year? How do we manage that? Are we going to demand a family tells us how many people are in their immediate family, and that, well, what if I only bring 3 people to any amenity at one time? I don't know. I think that's really,
And who's going to do that?
and who's going, like,
Because I know.
I don't
we're
really
talking about
understand
staff.
that charge as being a practical charge that we can administer and enforce, right?
I think the limit helps us in enforcement should it get out of hand. But I would perceive it to be more of a lenient, or
Yeah.
we're gonna.
No, you don't have 20 people in your
Right,
family.
exactly. So,
Right.
and that's, that you could get away that quickly. So I think just setting the bar at 4, it's a good starting point, but then we can always come back and maybe discuss that for, further consideration, so.
And I think everything is straightforward. Are you looking, do we need to make a motion to accept is that?
And yeah, if there's no objection to it.
Yeah, I'll make a motion to accept the current fee schedule dated June 18th. Bill seconds it. All in favor? Aye. Awesome. Okay. That being said, is there any public comment? There's no one left in the room. Is there anyone online?
Oh,
People
no.
have walked away. Okay. Any staff updates?
Yes, there was, I know we talked about the fun park. We're going to proceed with sunsetting the playground equipment. The dog park, we're going to wait until the Commons Park opens up and try to get you a timeline and see if the board or if we could try to expedite that process to not allow a major gap between the closure of the current dog park in the Sherman and trying to relocate it to the Commons. The fee schedule, we've already discussed. There was a question in the last PRAC meeting regarding the height of the lights to the pickleball courts, and we did find it was 20 feet tall. So I just kind of want to share that with the committee.
And that's not going to be intrusive to the surrounding area. I think that's why it was voiced, right?
Right.
Because they installed lights in Gateway Greens, Father to Power, and people were up in arms about it when they first talked about it, but the lights that they installed are lights more for walkers,
Yeah.
cars,
Yeah.
they're not like a baseball stadium.
Yeah.
Roads are lit up, nothing else.
But I think it's clear it's far enough away. It shouldn't be
Yeah.
intrusive.
Those are all the staff updates. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
And as far as staff is concerned, we haven't changed any staff members at the park.
No, it's just still the status quo. Still status quo.
Cool. It's good to know. All right, member items and reports. I don't have any additional report other than the slide deck. Does anyone have anything?
No.
Okay, let me just check. Make sure Tamara didn't. Okay. So the next meeting then, right? We discussed we will not be meeting July or August, so the next meeting would then be September. If I pull up my.
September 8th.
That's the first Tuesday.
It's actually the second Tuesday for some reason.
So would we not have September 1st or is it?
September 1st is a Tuesday.
Yes, September 1st would be the first Tuesday. For some reason, we have it as September the 8th at 1:30.
That might have been copied from another year.
Well, it's around the opening of school.
Chelsea, is there a reason for that you know of?
What was the dates? I'm sorry.
September, the next PRAC meeting, because they're taking July and August off, is September the 8th, which is the second Tuesday of September. And they're asking why.
Not the
When
first.
Georgia and I looked at that before the meeting, it is scheduled for the 8th at 1:30.
No idea. Is it normally on the 15th?
Normally on the first Tuesday of the month.
Yeah, that's not an issue. It can be on the 1st.
Okay, so I could work with Georgia to reschedule to the 1st because the 8th is the day after Labor Day as well, so.
So I would rather have it on the 1st.
Okay, so on the 1st, so
Yeah.
I'll get with Georgia and we'll make that change.
And just, Paul, I don't know if you, sorry, I stepped out, I think when you were giving your update. The parking implementation we're planning on going live, what did we say this morning? When did the leagues come back? August 1st?
September the 7th, so we'll have
So-
it the start of the fall leagues.
So September 1st is the
Right.
go live date for parking
Parking.
implementation at the soccer complex and the fun park.
Not commons?
No,
Okay.
the board hasn't opined on the commons yet. It's an option for them, but they have talked about the soccer complex and the fun park. So that may be forthcoming, but as of right now, it is not. So we're going to be making a big push this summer to get our residents signed up and get designated members and work on an implementation plan and notices. And if anybody has any questions, we'd be happy to sit down and talk you through what that process and project looks like.
Excellent. Well, if there's nothing else, get a motion to adjourn. All in favor? Aye. Thank you, everyone. Appreciate your time.
See you in a couple
Thank you.
months.
See you in a couple months. Enjoy your summer.
Yeah, you too. Great report, Paul, I'm telling you.
Thank you. I try.